Waking up to hard truths. Dear ES family, in the stages of our spiritual development when we undergo the uncovering of deceit, lies and manipulation, the complex gaslighting that is used to cover up true and accurate facts to appear as something they are not, when a person finally sees the true facts that were hidden beneath the deceptions, they can get very, very angry. As the crack of light appears in the center of the dark shadow, for some in the collective consciousness, as the inner light turns on, they can see more that was hidden in the dark room that they did not see before. When they can see this darkness moving in the shadows, there is a scrambling to make sense of it and to verify what it really is, during the realization of the great manipulation or deception. Maybe it is the fact they had been deceitfully used by another, or abused in ways they did not fully understand previously. No one feels good being used and manipulated. It is a tactic of the dark force imposters. This also opens another octave of light to illuminate our inner vision, to see what had been hidden in the dark closet, or that might have been deeply denied as a truth among the people involved in those circumstances. Or simply, the complex subconscious contents in these events or situations had just remained unseen and unknown to our current awareness. And after many years and much effort expended, we discover that our energy was being directed for unsavory or unethical purposes. What is my responsibility now? Naturally, as a consequence, we may ask, what is our responsibility to this moment? What is my moral or spiritual obligation to be in the face of such awkward and challenging circumstances where this deep revelation of deception, manipulation, intended harm towards the broken or innocent ones, people I know? What is the best course of action? What is in my power to do and what is not? For many people that still think with 3D thought forms, the first reaction will be to take aggressive or purposeful action against the deceiver, manipulator, or situation that has been used to take advantage over others. Yet taking outward or aggressive action is generally the least beneficial thing one can do in these moments. The inner strength is built upon being able to compassionately witness and be willing to see the entire truth, to integrate the information into your knowledge base and to remain still and able to observe yet more. In these cases, wisdom is very hard earned. There is a high art form in the skill of truly knowing when to take action and when to hold space in non-action. Many times the hard truth is that you will come to know the very people that were being abused or manipulated refuse to acknowledge what is happening in the form of harm or deception. They may seek to stay asleep in their astral mirror of delusion, as they are unwillingly to change or take responsibility for any of the realizations surfacing. Many times when you try to relay this truth, they will fight back with hostile reactions, shutting down any further dialogue. When we can see this overview, and it's very common, it can feel painful, confusing and hard to reconcile in navigating conflicts that involve other people. All we can be responsible for is our own personal conduct and behaviour. We cannot exert control over anyone else. There is an elevation of this deeper realization occurring in the collective consciousness that is present in the environment and field. This is being observed as a reflection of the challenging stages of processing anger and grief during the planetary dark night of the soul. Misplaced trust and usurped intent. One of the biggest questions awakening people are asking themselves is how we feel when we wake up one day and we deeply and completely realize that we had been completely deceived and used in some way, such as we trusted someone who was not who they appeared to be, misplaced trust. We were serving some outer intention happily, only to discover that it was false, harmful or inverted, usurped intent. We fully embody the knowing to see how pain and torture of our fellow humans is occurring daily as normal occurrences. Conditioning abuse. We have spent our time and hard-earned resources to play a prominent role in the controller game that feeds into the decaying system of human enslavement, world slavery. We see warped leaders taking advantage of broken people, which is producing even more pain, trauma, and fragmentation, setting up the dark entity feeding frenzy, NAA setup. We can see blatant power abuses playing out that intentionally hurt others that are unaware that this agenda is occurring, reinforcing abusers and predators. We interact with 3D people that have no meaning behind their words, people that do not follow through with what they said they would do, the empty promises and words of superficialism, materialism, and BS. We see those manipulating over and over again to gain a position of strategic advantage that is meaningless in the overall control and power mongers. We witness death, trauma, or tragic events that appear to be senseless, reckless, or idiotic, carelessness and no reverence for life. Welcome to the higher realizations of spiritual awakening, when undergoing the continued exploration of the watery depths of the dark night of the soul. Emotional healing. When uncovering some of these unpleasant truths, it is common to feel anger, depression, and grief rising. A helpful description is the Kubler-Ross model, which includes anger as one of the 5 stages of grief, which is necessary on the path of expressing authentic emotions that lead to emotional and spiritual healing. Feeling anger and grief can be a necessary stage of the emotional healing process because it triggers self-realization into acknowledging that something negative, traumatic, or painful has happened to us. It is better to recognize it as it's happening than allow pent-up anger to be expressed in uncontrolled outbursts or black depression. Be willing to feel and witness anger and grief to help redirect and release it. The more you truly feel it, understanding why you feel this way and recognizing its movement through personal observation, the more it will begin to dissipate through greater acceptance and awareness that supports emotional healing. An important component of emotional healing is validation that the event and the experience has happened and that you have the divine right to feel the emotions that you are feeling. It may be that you will need to make life changes to adjust accordingly to be truer to yourself. In this stage, it is important to validate your feelings and to honor your experience in the storyline when you felt pain. However, at some point, you'll need to see it is a storyline that you will want to be freed from, as the emotional attachments to these stories limit our consciousness expansion and experiences of joy and peace. Anger-ridden and grief-stricken stories can barrel through our minds like an out-of-control train careening down the tracks. To find freedom from pent-up anger and grief, we must recognize the story and see that repeating it over and over again does not serve us to emotionally grow and move forward in more peace. Yes, what happened did happen to us, even if people around us ignored it. But we have to make the choice on how much longer we allow the burden of negative emotions to hang on to our thoughts and feelings like a ball and chain that keeps us captive to the painful past. Emotional processing exercise. Here are some strategies to help soften the storyline. Open up with compassion to everyone involved, including yourself. Recognize that you are bringing the past into the present moment by endlessly repeating the story in your mind. At some point, for your own sanity and health, you must let it go. Bring your full attention into the sensations and emotions that you are experiencing in the moment. Commit to bringing all of your actions in alignment with what you really want to be aligned with. Call for spiritual support, prayers, and help to move through the painful situation with grace and the highest expression possible for all parties. All of us can relate to these difficult experiences and painful feelings at some point in our life, and this is especially prevalent during the dark night of the soul process, the phase when we really start uncovering some of life's gory hidden details. Sometimes we can be shocked at what we can see and remember. Love, peace, and GSF in all ways. Lisa Renee.